Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Offline. Today in this session, we are going to see yesterday's and today's important articles that appear in our newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to analyze each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view. Okay, let us see the first topic. It is about ammonia leak. Ammonia leak kills 2 at Tamil Nadu seafood unit. So there is gas leak happened in one seafood unit. So because of this, 2 people died in Tamil Nadu. So there is article which is seen in yesterday's paper related to this gas leak, and in today's newspaper there is one editorial which talks about same thing. Okay, and this topic is important from GS paper 3 under disaster management. How you can get a question here is you can get a question on ammonia. Okay, because this gas leak led to loss of life of 2 people in Tamil Nadu. So UPSC may ask you about what are the physical characteristics and where exactly we will use this ammonia gas. That is nothing but applications of ammonia. And next topic is Biochar offers a way to turn India's farm smoke into black gold. So this article is talking about biochar. Biochar is nothing but the product that we will get after burning of agriculture residue. And here we can use that biochar in our agriculture fields so that we can increase the fertility of soil. So this topic is important from GS paper 3 under science and technology. And next topic is, are footpaths more than safe spaces? So this article is talking about Supreme Court judgment. Already we discussed about the Supreme Court judgment, that is right to walk on footpaths is a fundamental right. So again, there is one text and context in yesterday's newspaper which talks about the same thing, and we are going to see some extra details which are given in this article. And it is important from GS paper 2 under polity. And next topic is core sector growth slows to 0.5%. Crude coal contracts. So here you have to know about what are those important core sector and why there is slowdown in this core sector, and what will be the impact on our economy if this core sectors are slowing down. And this topic is important from GS paper 3 under economy. And next topic is Tushar Mehta reappointed Solicitor General for 3 years. So the key word here is Solicitor General. In your polity, I think you might have heard about Attorney General. So here there is one more term called as Solicitor General. On the Solicitor General 2019, UPSC gave a prelims based question. So here you have to know about some basic facts related to this Solicitor General, and it is important from polity from GS paper 2. And next topic is the try commissioning of INS Dunagiri, INS Sansodak and INS Agra. So here we have to know about some basic features regarding this Indian naval ships. Exactly where we are using that, who made this. On this, UPSC can ask you a question from defense point of view. And this topic is important from GS paper general defense. And next topic is deadly fumes. So the same thing. I said there is leak of ammonia gas that led to loss of life of 2 people in seafood. So here this article is saying that in our industrial sector, the major problem is there is no proper enforcement of laws, and even there is no proper safety norms. Because of this reason, frequently we can see this kind of disasters in industries. And this topic is important from again disaster management from GS paper 3. Okay, say this article is. Read out the title. Ammonia leak kills 2 in Tamil Nadu seafood unit. Okay, so if you have seen, have you have the habit of watching the CID series? CID. So in that CID, there will be some episodes which talks about some radioactive substance leak and some leak in some industries. Have you watched that series? That especially that episodes. So the same way, whenever they are going for investigating that kind of sites, they will be wearing this kind of dresses, special equipment to protect themselves, right? So if there is any harmful gas leak or if there is any hazardous gas leak happen, obviously they have to wear this protective gear. So here, how you can expect a question here UPSC is, if there is any gas leak happened, because of that gas leak, if there is any loss of life or loss of property, UPSC wants to know you about that basic features, or what is this ammonia, so where normally it can be used, so why it is lethal. Okay, because as a district collector, you are the head of district disaster management authority. So if your district is having more and more industries, if this kind of accidents if happens in your district, then who is responsible? You have to take care, no? So you are, at least UPSC wants you to know all these kind of disasters. For these things, UPSC will test your knowledge in prelims. So how UPSC can give a question? Consider the following statements regarding ammonia gas. And under that, it may give 2 to 3 statements, and it may ask which of the above statements are correct or incorrect. So what UPSC can give in the statements? They may give about what is their nature, physical characteristics. Second one is applications, where we can use this ammonia gas. And second type of question is consider the following statements. In all, UPSC can give you applications, and it may ask in which of the above ammonia is used, and they may ask you to identify correct or incorrect. So in these two ways, UPSC can ask you a question related to ammonia gas. Okay, now let us see this in detail. Ammonia gas leak in a private seafood processing and export facility in Tamil Nadu happened. And in this incident, around 2 migrant workers, Odisha, they are from Odisha, they lost their life, and many were hospitalized. More than 60 people, they were hospitalized. Okay, from mains point of view, how UPSC can ask you a question? Can UPSC ask directly a question on ammonia? For sure it won't. So here the important point you have to see is who died here? Migrant workers. So how UPSC can give a question means there is increased disasters in industrial sector in our country. Discuss how these migrant workers are more vulnerable and what are the safeguards provided by Government of India to protect these migrant workers who are working in this industrial sector. Are you understanding? So in this way, UPSC can connect current affairs and they can give you a mains based question. Clear? So from mains point of view, it will be talking about vulnerability of migrant workers in our country. So if you want to make a notes, how you can make a notes here? You have to collect the data related to migrant workers in our country. In which area, in which part of our country, like south or northeast or northwest or north or central India, where we have more number of migrant workers, and you have to see what challenges are faced by these migrant workers, and you have to see what is the way forward. Okay, like that you may get a mains based question from GS paper to under society, because those are also the part of our Indian society, right? So from that way you will be getting mains based question. Clear? And from prelims directly you may get question about ammonia. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this ammonia. Ammonia formula, I think you might have studied in your intermediate, that is NH3. NH3 is formula of ammonia, and it is very highly reactive in organic compound, and it is a mixture of what? Nitrogen and hydrogen. If you see the basic physical characteristics of this ammonia, it is colorless gas and it is pungent. Normally, this ammonia is naturally available in our environment, but in very small amounts. Okay, so where we can see this presence of ammonia? Have you ever seen if there is any dog, stray dog which had been died and which is decomposing? You'll get a strong pungent odor if you're passing nearby that. So that odor is because of this release of ammonia gas from that dead body. So normally at this decomposition of this organic nitrogenous matter, we can see this ammonia will be present naturally in our environment. Okay, if you see the key physical and chemical characteristics, it will have like high pungent odor. So whenever we breathe that high pungent smell, whatever the lining of our nose and respiratory tract will be there, it will be getting irritated. Because of this, you will be getting sneezes, you will be getting burning sensation inside your throat. Sometimes you may get cough. Okay, next one here is water solubility. It will dissolve in water. NH3 plus OH, H2O, what happens? It will form NH4OH. It is called as ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide is alkaline solution. You know this acid and base. Alkaline means base, not acid. Alkaline means base. So what is the pH of base? It will be more than 7 or less than 7? Yes, more than 7. Less than 7 is acid. Okay. So if this ammonia is mixing with this water, it will form ammonium hydroxide. So this will irritate our eyes, skin and even respiratory tract. Okay, next one here is where we'll use this ammonia in our refrigerators. Why? Because so ammonia can be easily liquefied under high pressure. Whenever we are applying high pressure, this ammonia gas will be converted into liquid and we can use in our refrigerator as coolant. Okay, and exactly where we are using this ammonia, what are the applications? First one is for refrigeration. So why do we want this refrigeration? If you want to store something, if you go to any fish market where these fishes will be stored in ice, yes, so that means we need extreme low temperature we have to maintain to protect this kind of fishes. As you know, the seafood are like they are very perishable. That means they can be spoiled within 2 to 3 days. If you want to store them, for sure we have to maintain -degree temperature. So especially the seafood industries will use this ammonia gas for maintaining of very low temperature to store these fishes. Okay, and not only in this seafood, but even in some food processing industries and ice plants also, they will be using this ammonia gas. And this one is ammonia which contains NH3. Nitrogen is there. Nitrogen is very important for growth of animals and as well as plants. So we can use this ammonia for making of what? Fertilizer. And this one is in chemical manufacturing, like in nitric acid production, in plastic, synthetic fibers, in explosives also, we can use this ammonia. Okay, and next one is for cleaning and water treatment also, we can use this ammonia for chlorination method. So all these are the applications of ammonia. Okay, and see this next article, guys. Read out the title. Biochar offers a way to turn India's farm smoke into black gold. What is the meaning of it? You can say this is biochar. In image, you can see black color powder. That is biochar. Offers a way to turn India's farm smoke. That means, is it talking about stubble burning? Yes. What we are doing is, in our agriculture, whatever the agriculture waste is there, we are just putting fire on it and we are burning it. So if you are burning it, what happened at last what will get? Budida, that is nothing but this biochar. Okay. Now this article is saying that we can convert this biochar into black gold. Okay, so just read this. We can understand that when added to poor, degraded soil, the major problem of our soil in India is soil erosion, degradation of soil. If you are adding this biochar with this degraded soil, this biochar will increase the ability to store water. The ability to store water, and it will stimulate the growth of beneficial microorganisms. So whenever the beneficial microorganisms are increasing, what happens? Nitrogen fixing capacity will be obviously increased. And even whatever the humus, whenever this dried leaves, they are falling on the ground, what happens? The decomposition will happen at a very faster rate. If decomposition of this litter happens, means what it forms? It forms humus. Yes, humus is very important for water holding capacity, right? So here this article is saying that whatever this biochar we are producing by burning of this agriculture produce, we can use it for the multi-purpose. What are those purposes? We can use them for increasing of absorbing of water and water retention capacity, and even improving the microbes also in that area. Okay, and this is said by some studies. So if we are using this biochar, obviously the productivity of our crop will be increased by 10 to 30%. What is meaning of productivity? So whatever the produce we are getting from that crop, finally is called as agricultural productivity. The productivity of crop will be obviously increased by 10 to 30%, and water holding capacity of the soil will be increased by 10 to 25%. Okay, so this is about this article. So how UPSC can give you a question? Consider the following statements regarding biochar. Under that it may give 2 to 3 statements, and it may ask which of the above are correct or incorrect. Why? Because environment is one favorite area of UPSC. And in your prelims, minimum 15 questions you can expect from environment and ecology. If there is any advancement, if there is any study reveals something that can be added to our environment, or that will be helpful for our combating of climate change or increasing of agriculture productivity, obviously UPSC will pick up that kind of topics. So in 2027, you can expect a question on this biochar. Okay, and how can you use this article in another way? In the month of November, December, January, you will see only one article that will be rotating, repeating in Hindi newspaper, that is stubble burning. Why? Because of Delhi air pollution. One important and major cause of Delhi air pollution is stubble burning in places of Punjab, Haryana region. Okay, so here, can we link this article with that? Yes, what are the biochar we are getting? So we can use for improving of soil fertility. There you can add this point in your mains. Okay, now let us see what exactly is this biochar. Biochar is made by heating agriculture waste in low oxygen conditions. Whenever we are burning this agriculture waste at low oxygen condition, means nothing but under pyrolysis. Have you heard this word pyrolysis? Whenever we are heating something in absence of oxygen is called as pyrolysis. So whenever we are heating this agriculture waste under maintained conditions where we have low oxygen content, then that will make this biochar. Okay, and next one here is we can integrate this biochar into our existing initiatives. What are those? Related to natural farming, soil health management, and carbon farming. In all these areas, we can incorporate this biochar. And you know, nowadays climate change is happening at a very faster rate. We are having droughts, yes, and this time we have El Nino, and we are expecting less rainfall. So what did IMD said this time? We are going to get 35% of less rainfall than normal. Yes, we discussed that in last 4 days. Okay, now what happened? Which kind of soil we need actually? The soil which has to hold water for long period. What is the reason? Most of our agriculture is rain-fed agriculture. Our agriculture is dependent on rainfall. So whatever the rainfall we are getting, that has to be that water has to be holded by the soil for the long time. So that what happened? Obviously, we can increase the crop productivity. That is the thing which mainly said here. Because of climate change, droughts are happening, heat waves are there, and we don't know exactly what is the rainfall pattern in our country, which area will be getting heavy rainfall, which area will be getting less rainfall, and because of El Nino now we are having deficit rainfall. We discussed that, right? So because of this we can use this black gold, or what is this, biochar, for increasing of soil health, and we can enhance sustainable agriculture productivity in our country. Okay, so that is this article, guys. Nothing more than that. Okay, say this article. Are footpaths more than safe spaces? This article is talking about recent Supreme Court judgment. What is the judgment? Walking on footpath is a fundamental right, which is under which articles? 21 and even 19. So you have to remember that two articles. Article 19 talks about right to freedom. Article 21 talks about right to life and personal liberty. Okay. So please make a note of this case. I didn't said about the case name. Okay, Supreme Court of India delivered a landmark judgment in the case of Maniyar Ilyas versus P. Ayyappan and others. So whenever you are writing any judgment of Supreme Court, remember guys, you have to write what is the name of that judgment, and even year is also mandatory. 2026, 2025, case Puttaswamy case 2017, and you know about Keshwananda Bharati case. Recently, what are the cases you have studied in your polity? Examples of some cases. Next. You wrote answer no related to ordinance. What is that case you wrote? Ram. Rajaram. Okay, so like that you have to remember the cases. At least there will be majorly not more than 12 cases that you have to remember. That is more than enough to write your polity answers. Okay, so not more than 12. No need of remembering everyone. Every case, like you have to remember Keshwananda Bharati case, Gopalan case, Minerva Mills case, LIC India case, Menaka Gandhi case. Okay, there will be like minimum 12 cases that you have to remember, not all. Okay, so now why Supreme Court gave this judgment? What is the reason? It is affecting Article 19, which talks about right to freedom, and next one is Article 21. Apart from this, in India, there is increased pedestrian fatalities. The data which is given by this NCRB says that between 2015 and 2024, there is increased deaths of pedestrians of 163%. From 2015, if you are comparing with this 2024, 163% increased cases of deaths of pedestrians happened. So because of this, now Supreme Court reacted to the case and it said that right to walk on footpaths is a fundamental right. And you know about constitutional basis, we have Article 19, 1 subclass D and Article 21. And in this Supreme Court judgment, Supreme Court gave priority for pedestrians over the vehicles. Okay, and what Supreme Court directed? It is a responsibility of public bodies like municipal corporations, panchayats, urban development authorities to demarcate and construct, and if they had already been constructed, they have to maintain this safe footpaths. So all these things that we discussed in earlier class. Okay, say this article guys, core sector growth slows to 0.5%. Okay, here you have to see this thing, core sector, very important. On this UPSC asked many a times questions. If you see the format of question which asked by UPSC in previous years is, consider the following. They gave five kind of industries and they asked which of the above are core industries. Okay, how many core industries do we have? If you're talking about core industries in our country, we have 8 core industries. To remember this, I am from BPC background, I know funds more. So funds 3C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F for fertilizer. E for electricity. R for refineries. N for natural gas. S for steel. 1 C for coal. Another C for cement. Next one is crude oil. So these are the 8 industrial sectors which will form the core of our manufacturing sector. So we have different sectors like primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary and quinary. So in that secondary, that is about manufacturing sector. And these 8, if you take this entire is manufacturing sector, and these 8 will form the core. If something happens to these 8 sectors, our entire industrial sector will be getting worse. So now this article is saying that there is slowdown in this core sector by how much percent? 0.5 percentage of slowdown of core sector happened. And in this 8, which is affecting more? Crude and coal. Crude oil and coal got slowed down. So now you guys, with your knowledge, tell me why this crude oil sector contraction is seen. Do we have crude oil in our country reserves? Very less, very less. We are getting from other countries. Because of West Asian crisis, obviously, what happened? Our crude oil got affected or not? Why? Because of West Asian crisis, increased international price, Strait of Hormuz, stopping of ships in this Strait of Hormuz, everything got affected our crude oil sector. Okay. And what about coal? One is coal, one is crude oil, right? What about this coal then? Nowadays, climate change is going on. Yes, climate change is happening at a very rampant pace. There is increase in heat waves, increasing of cold waves, El Nino, and melting of glaciers, right? Global warming, whatnot. Everything is happening. Okay, if we use this coal, is that good for our environment? Coal is an example of what? Fossil fuel. If you burn this coal, what will get? We'll get PM 2.5, we'll get sulfur, we'll get lots of pollution because of burning of coal. And the tragedy here is in India, so whatever the electricity you are using, more than 70% of electricity is produced by this coal itself. That will lead to further increased pollution. So now what we are thinking, we have to move towards renewable energy sources. So we are moving towards what? Installing of more and more solar panels. We are increasing our wind energy production. And next, and even we are focusing on nuclear power plants, especially small modular reactors, you know, right? Tidal energy. So because of this, what is happening? We are trying to slowly decrease our reliance on coal, and we are moving towards renewable energy. So because of this, this coal sector, will it see growth or will it see slow down? Slow down. So these are the reasons why now crude oil and coal is facing problem. There is around 0.5 percentage of contraction. Are you understanding? So apply your basic common sense, and you have to see what is happening across the world and across India, and we can connect that and we can easily write an answer, guys. Okay, so if UPSC wants to give a question, it will give on this. Consider the following: which of the above are core sectors? In mains point of view, if it wants to target one sector, like one of our core industrial sector is, one of our core industries is crude oil. In 2025 or in 2026, this crude oil sector faced lot of challenges. What are the challenges? And suggest some measures. Like that, UPSC can ask you a question. So what are the challenges faced by this crude oil sector? West Asian crisis. Yes. And what is the solution for what? If you want to give some measures, what kind of measures you can give? So we should not depend only on one country or one part of the world. So we have to diversify our supply chains. Okay. For that, what we have to do? We have to do agreements with the countries. We have to go for increasing of bilateral relations. Okay. So like that, you have to suggest some measures. Okay. So this article is, read out the title. Tushar Mehta reappointed Solicitor General for 3 years. Keyword is Solicitor General. In your Union Executive part of your polity, you will be studying about Attorney General. Which article talks about it? Very good, 76. Okay, in that topic, have you read about the Solicitor General?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So, how the question gave in 2019 was, consider the following statements. And they gave two statements under that question. And in those two statements, they compared Attorney General with Solicitor General. And whenever there is a question UPSC, if it is comparing two bodies, two persons or two things, obviously what is the chance here? They will swap the statements. Solicitor General statements they will attach to Attorney General. Attorney General statements they will attach to Solicitor General. The same thing happened in that also. Okay. So here, if UPSC wants to give a question, it can compare Attorney General with Solicitor General. So which is the constitutional body here? Attorney General of India is a constitutional body under Article 76. But Solicitor General is not at all a constitutional body. And next one here is UPSC can give a sole question on this Solicitor General. Consider the following statements regarding Solicitor General. Under that, it may give 2 to 3 statements and it will ask you to identify correct or incorrect statements. Okay, now let us see about facts. Okay, we have certain rules in our country. The rules are Law Officer Conditions of Services Rules of 1987. So these rules provides about the functions of law officer. So who are the law officers in our country? Top will be Attorney General, and under that person who will assist this Attorney General will be Solicitor General of India. Okay, and if you see about the Solicitor General of India, who is the first law officer? Attorney General is first law officer, and Solicitor General of India is secondary law officer of our country after this Attorney General of India. Okay, so what is the tenure of this person? Under this condition of service rules itself, it says the tenure of Solicitor General is 3 years. Then what about Attorney General of India's? No certain tenure, but Solicitor General has 3 years of tenure, which is given clearly in these rules. UPSC will confuse you. How UPSC gives a statement? Solicitor General has tenure of 3 years according to Constitution of India. You will read until 3 years. Solicitor General of India 3 years. Yes, it is right statement. But you will ignore this last part. It is not in our constitution, but it is written in this law or rules. What are the duties here? What is the duty of Attorney General of India? What he'll do? And you wrote mains question also on that, right? Tell me what are the rules? Sir, what are the functions of this Attorney General? What he'll do? He will advise to whom? He'll give advice to whom? President of India. Next, will he sit in the houses? Okay. Okay, he'll participate in the houses and committees. Do he has the right to vote? No right to vote. Next. Okay, he can also participate in committees and he can also speak in committees. Next. Can he become the member of committee? Yes. Okay. So like that, they will be comparing the Solicitor General of India and as well as Attorney General of India, and they may give you statements. Okay. So if you see the duties of the Solicitor General of India, he can give an advice to Government of India on legal matters which are referred or assigned by the government. And next one here is he can appear in Supreme Court or any High Court on behalf of government. So how this Attorney General performs? If Attorney General is busy, he will go and he will attend. Okay. And next one is he'll represent Government of India in any reference made by President to Supreme Court. If President is asking any questions to Supreme Court under Article 143, this person can represent in that. And next one is he can discharge such other functions which are conferred on a law officer or under the constitution or any law. At that time, if we want to get any information related to that, yes, he can give that information. So these are the some important points related to Solicitor General of India. And see this text article, guys. Try commissioning of INS Dhunagiri, INS Sansodak, and INS Agre. So if you are getting this kind of commissioning of equipments related to army or navy or air force, UPSC can give you a question. So how UPSC can give you a question? Consider the following statements regarding INS Dhunagiri. Okay, that is the first type of question, which it will give like 2 to 3 statements and will ask to identify correct or incorrect. And second one here is consider the following: INS Dhunagiri, Sansodak, or something they'll give, and which are indigenously produced in our country. That is the question 2026 prelims. And next type of question is pair based question. On one side it can give you INS Dhunagiri, Sansodak, Agrai, what it is used for, and they may ask you to identify correct pairs. So in that way, 3 types of questions UPSC give from this kind of topics. Okay, now let us see here. Context says Prime Minister presided over the historic tri-commissioning of INS Dhunagiri, Sansodak, INS Agrai in Kolkata. Okay, tri means what? 3. Simultaneously, in one go, we inducted these 3, that is INS Dhunagiri, Sansodak and Agrai, to our Indian Navy. So because of this, it is called as tri-commission. And next important points that you have to remember is INS Dhunagiri. It is heavy stealth guided missile frigate. Okay, Dhunagiri is frigate. You know this frigate, right? It is like a big ship which can be used for patrolling services. You know this patrolling? If CM convoy is going or like Prime Minister convoy will go, you will be having vehicles which will be guarding that vehicle of Prime Minister. That is called as escort and escort services. So for that, especially in the water, we will say it as patrolling services. Okay. And next, who developed this? It is developed by Garden Reach shipbuilders and engineers. And what is the important aim? To operate freely in blue water environment, and we want to protect our coast, especially from conventional and non-conventional enemy threats. As you know, we have different threats from Pakistan and as well as China. So if we want to protect our coastline, we need to have this kind of frigates. And next one here is INS Sansodak. It is deep water surveyor. Only this ship will be doing survey. Okay, it is a survey vessel. It will be not used in any kind of combating or any kind of attacking of our enemy country. Just it will go and it will do the survey. Okay, what kind of survey it will do? Like it will map the oceanic terrain. So what is happening inside the ocean, where we have our resources. Okay, and which routes are safe routes, which routes are not safe, because in some areas we will be getting high waves, rogue waves. So in that locations, the movement of ships is not good. So it will be doing that kind of survey and it will be telling like which are the safest routes to be used. And it will be also focusing on civilian shipping. So whenever if the movement of people is also happening through this waterway, so which are the safe routes for the movement? So everything this will be giving an idea. And next one is we have INS Agrai. INS Agrai is anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft. It will be helping this submarines. Okay, if there is any problem with any submarines, so these ships will be sent there and it will be helping that submarines. It is anti-submarine warfare, shallow watercraft. Okay, that's it guys. It will be detecting and tracking, it will be neutralizing this hostile submarines, and even it will be helping our own submarines also if they are having any problem. Okay, see this article guys, it is talking about deadly fumes Tamil Nadu has witnessed its deadliest industrial ammonia gas leak tragedy. And today's article is saying that so far 8 people died and many were admitted in hospital. And it happened in one private seafood processing unit. Okay, so here how you can get a question here is, recently we were discussing lots of industrial disasters. Like in Tamil Nadu, there is one place called as Sivakasi region, which is very much famous for cracker industries, firecracker industries. Every year, at least 7 to 8 times, you will see that there is burst in this firecracker industry. And even this Tamil Nadu is having a coast. It is a coastal state. It is very good in the seafood industry, right? And now in the seafood industry also, this kind of disaster happened. So how you can get a question is, what are the reasons for this kind of disasters in industries in our country? Okay, they will be asking you about reasons, and they will be asking you about measures. If they want to make this question much more critical, they may ask you what are the measures taken by our government, or what are the laws which are present in our country to protect labor. Recently we discussed about this labor codes implemented in our country. So they can connect this labor codes. In that labor codes, they will talk about safety of people. Okay, safety of people code with kind of measures or laws present in our country. Okay, so in that way you can expect a mains based question. I will give all this content in our monthly maxim. Okay, don't worry. So once the monthly maxims will be there in your hands, start read everything and try to make your own notes. Okay, just understand that topic, why it is in news and what are the format I am telling in your class. Just pick out the points from that, or just use highlighters. You can use 2 to 3 highlighters and you can highlight the points. Okay, so that you can make your own notes with the data, everything from that monthly maxims itself. No need of going here and there to make the notes for your mains. And mostly 80 to 85% of questions in your mains will be from current affairs only. That is for sure. That will be from current affairs. So if you are very good at this current affairs and if you are making proper notes, then there will be no problem for you guys. Okay, now let us see questions. Consider the following statements. Biochar can be used in vertical farming. Biochar promotes the growth of nitrogen-fixing microorganisms. Biochar enhances moisture retention in growing medium. It is saying can be. Can be is a moderate word. So if you say can be, 99% that statement will be right. Okay, we discussed that in our prelims classes. Okay, it promotes growth of fixing bacteria is. What about moisture retention power? Moisture holding capacity increases or decreases? Increases. So what will be the answer? 1, 2 and 3. So mostly, I will tell you a tip, but mostly that may not work now. Earlier, before 2000, if there is any question related to science and technology, if they are talking about applications, we will ask student to keep all the way above. But now the trend had been changed. UPSC is also very clever. So now it is not working actually. So you have to check with this moderate words, okay, or whether they are extreme words, extreme statements. See that and you can pick up the option. Okay, see this case. Next question. With reference to INS Dunagiri, INS Sanshodak and INS Agra, I consider the following statements. All 3 vessels are commissioned in June 2026. One go, try commission. And next, all 3 were built indigenously in India. Yes. All 3 are frontline combat warships. INS Sanshodak is just survey ship. It is not at all combat ship. And next, their induction strengthens India's maritime domain awareness and naval capability. So those are the article highlights or titles in our today's paper related to our maritime security because of induction of these 3. So what is the answer? We have to eliminate this. Option 3. Answer is 1, 2 and 4. Say this one more question. Consider the following statements regarding Solicitor General of India. Solicitor General is the second highest law officer of India. The post of Solicitor General is a constitutional post under Article 76. The Solicitor General assists Attorney General of India. Solicitor General represents the Government of India before courts. It is not constitutional body. It is under rules. So you can eliminate this 2. Answer is 1, 3 and 4. In that way, try to eliminate the statement. Okay, your prelims agenda should be eliminating the statements, not to identify which statement is correct. Whatever the books we read or like whatever the matter which is available in the internet, nowhere everything is written. Is that possible to mug up everything? For sure, no. So what you have to do is, with your knowledge, you have to eliminate the statement. If you're eliminating one statement, for sure you can eliminate 2 options at least. Yes, if you're eliminating the statements, you can eliminate the options. So that what happens? 50-50% chances will be more. If you're attempting that kind of questions of 50-50% chances, obviously there is a high chance of clearing your prelims. That should be your agenda. Whenever you are reading your statements of prelims, eliminate the statements. Don't think like I have to search only correct statements. Don't do that. It won't happen also. By using tricks and tips, you have to eliminate the statements and you have to come with the correct answer. That's it. That is your agenda, guys. Okay, that's all, guys. By this, I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this class, please do hit the like button. And please do share this class to your friends. And if you have not yet been subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, guys. Thank you so much.